welcome to the countdown to kick off the build-up show, our first one in December, and it is a Christmas cracker. It is Newcastle United versus Manchester United at St James's Park. A massive, massive game for both teams, but especially for Man United. And we're back on the build-up show. It's snowing outside in Manchester. It's freezing cold.
It is snowing a little bit.
Got my Christmas jumper on, shop it on the United stand. And we have a great lineup of Faz and Ricky as well. Ricky, finally back from Tenerife. We've missed you.
Oh, I've got it. How many games I'm missing recently? I've got to go away again next week, so I'm missing a few more after this. I'm back for the Bayern Munich game, though. I look forward to that.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Can't wait to have you back. Even though you're here now, we're already missing you for next time. But Faz, it's Newcastle, it's St James's Park. It's going to be a really tough game. I mean, how are you feeling? It's 8 p.m. It's 8 p.m. kickoff. It's a Saturday night one. How are you feeling?
Not nervous. Not nervous. I'm going to be a bit bold. And I was having a deep think on the flight back from Istanbul, with no network, nothing to distract me, nothing to research. And I was just thinking how over the international break period, the gaffer has probably sat down and thought to himself that the way I've been playing football with the players that I have is clearly not getting me enough goals or enough output out of the team. So he's changed a couple of things around in terms of the way we play football. And in 2 games, we've scored 6 goals. With obviously both games, we didn't end up losing. Unfortunate that the Galatasaray game, we didn't get 4 or 5 goals. We could have easily done that. But let's be honest, I've actually enjoyed watching Manchester United score goals. Forget all of the build-up and all of that other stuff because the season's not started off well. But I've really enjoyed my team scoring 6 goals in 2 games. Really, really have. And I feel like we're going to be doing the same today. I feel like there's 2 goals in this game from Manchester United. As much and as tough that Newcastle are, even when they have injuries, they still play really high-level football, similar to their main starting 11. I get that. But I think Erik ten Hag will probably try and not do the mistakes that he made when we played Newcastle prior this season already. And he's going to try and play this attacking counter type of football that he's been playing over the last 2 games. I think Man United scored 2 goals today.
Oh, that is confident. I'm not as confident as you. I have quite a few people in the chat saying, Beth, any team news yet? Well, we do have some team news to bring you, but you'll have to wait until 7:15. 7:15 is when the team news will be coming here on the United stand. But I'll give you a clue. It might not be what you expect.
And also, another one, Erik ten Hag has got his chef hat on.
Yeah, he's cooking.
He's cooking something.
Yeah, cooking up. Some people might not be happy, some people
What's
might
your
be
favourite
happy.
thing to cook?
Well, do you know what? Interestingly enough, yesterday I cooked a chicken pie.
A chicken pie?
Yeah.
Is that your favourite?
Chicken. It's not my favourite thing to cook, but yesterday I cooked a chicken. I'm not the greatest cook. I mean, we'll move on from this, but I'm not the greatest cook. But I cooked a chicken and bacon pie because, you know, having a chilled weekend in, it's winter, and it was unreal, if I do say so myself.
Okay.
But my favourite thing to cook is probably like a nice pasta dish, like an Nduja pasta.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, what's yours, Faz?
I can cook many different things. Maybe you'll find out someday.
Maybe. Don't start this again.
I'll tell you what, though. I don't know if Ricky can cook, but he makes a fantastic cup of tea. He's got a fantastic cup of tea, mate. If there was a Ballon d'Or for cup of tea, you would definitely be up there.
We'll hand out these awards at a different point, I'm sure. Carlos Enrique says Højlund and Eriksson, England in the Euro Cup. Yeah. I mean, Denmark are in England's group, so that will be an interesting one for sure. But Ricky, Newcastle game, it's going to be a tough one tonight. Are you optimistic going into it at St James's Park? I have got our record at St James's Park here. I'll read it out before I come to you. But United at St James's Park, the last 5 games, 1 win, 1 draw and 3 losses. Are you confident?
No, doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. I think they've got a few injury problems as well. I can't wait to see the lineups. And I mean, it's not every team that you play against. I mean, you know, some people are more clued up than others. It's not every team that you play against where you're pretty au fait with all the players in the other team's squad. But the Newcastle squad, I'm pretty good with. You know what I mean? And they've got a deep squad. Well, they haven't got a really deep squad like City have got, but they've got a decent squad. So I think they'll have a good side out. But I can't wait to see their team just as much as seeing our team, and then I'd love to be able to give you my opinion then, but going up to St James's Park, no, I'm not really confident, no.
Well, they are suffering with injuries, Newcastle, the way we have as well, but they are suffering with injuries, and they have had to play in Paris midweek. a really tough game for them as well, which will have exhausted them a lot. But Man United had to play in horrible conditions against Galatasaray the day after, so they have had a day later rest. They've heard the news coming out that, breaking news everyone, if you've not heard already, breaking news, Man United's flight to Newcastle got cancelled because of weather, and they had to get the coach, a 3-hour coach journey, stop everything. They had to get a 3-hour coach journey. I saw people saying, this will affect us so much. Of course, like, you know, it's not great, you know, having to go and get the coach, but I mean, welcome to the real world is what I would say. I don't think it's any excuse to make. But, Ricky...
Was that today, or did they have to...
No, that was today.
Today, this morning.
That was this morning.
Okay. Right.
But when it comes to the Galatasaray game, obviously you weren't on the forum. So what did you think about how Erik ten Hag set up in that game and how he went about that game?
A bit too open, really, and I think quite a lot of the pundits were saying, I heard quite a few pundits refer to it as like a basketball game, so much end-to-end stuff. I couldn't believe Graham, by the way, on Instagram came to me and said that if we'd have took Bruno off, the ball would have come back so much. It couldn't have come back any more than it was doing anyway. Do you know what I mean? It was just end-to-end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They attack, we attack, they attack,
Brilliant
we attack.
goal from Bruno, weren't it, Rick?
Fantastic goal. Fantastic goal.
Good assist as well.
And a good assist.
To Garnacho, weren't it?
We'll come back to this later, by the way, because you know what I've done. I've rewatched it, and I heard you all talking about McTominay. He had a perfectly fine game.
No, not in the second half.
He made a couple of errors near the end. I've watched it today. He had a perfectly fine game, and did a couple of brilliant things as well. But that's another story. The game overall, as Faz was saying, fantastic to look dangerous. But I'd love us to be... it's like it's never enough. I'd love us to look dangerous without being so open at the other end as well. Do you know what I mean? So it was just too open. It was like a game of basketball, as the pundit said, or I'd refer it perhaps more like a schoolboy game, if you like. There's just nothing. I heard you speaking on the fans forum saying there's no. That's something that made me laugh actually. On the fans forum, you was all saying there was nothing in the middle. It was so open. Then McTominay got loads of criticism. Then Amrabat got a little bit of criticism. But don't we play with 3 midfield players? Ain't Bruno one of the midfield players? We've never got mentioned, Bruno. Never got
Bruno
mentioned. No, never got mentioned. Hear me out. They were talking about us being so open in the midfield and them absolutely walking through us and then giving man of the match to one of the midfield players.
You can't tell
Doesn't add up to me. It doesn't add up.
You can't tell me, Ricky, that Bruno didn't have a good game against Galatasaray.
He didn't have a particularly good game, no.
How did he not? He got a brilliant assist. He got a brilliant goal and was so creative throughout the game. Everything dangerous we did looked like it was going to come through him. And you're telling me McTominay had a good game when, fair enough, he got a good goal, but there's a clip, Ricky, where Mainoo's struggling in the corner of the pitch and there was players around him and McTominay's just stood behind one of the Galatasaray players, not even offering himself. I mean, I think McTominay's done well over the last few weeks, but second half against Galatasaray, he wasn't good.
You don't think so?
No, you have to watch it back together and you have to explain to me.
No.
But what did you think of Amrabat in that game?
I thought he did all right. I thought, look, I don't... We were open a lot, but I don't think the forwards get back quickly enough. The team as a whole are not compact enough. They're pouring through the midfield because the forwards are not helping enough at times. It's so difficult to put your finger on because Garnacho does get back, Anthony does get back, but it's more about chasing back when the opposition are already broken forward. Some really well-organised teams, they will sit back a little bit. Those players will, when the opposition have got the ball, they'll sit back. I think the problem is, I think people get through our press too easily. Yeah. That's probably the problem. They get through the press so easily that once that happens, against City, by the way, it's embarrassing because we've got, I know we're talking about the Galatasaray game, but you've got 2 wingers, a striker, plus Bruno on the press. So once they beat that press, you've got 2 men in the middle of it. Doesn't matter who they are, by the way. Doesn't matter if it's Patrick Vieira and Roy Keane, never mind. Never mind whatever we've got on any given day. You've got 2 against 4 when the others have beaten the press. You've got no chance. So there's nothing in the midfield because they've got too many players against our midfield players once they've beaten the press. Which I think we're just a bit shambolic at times when it comes to team shape. I mean, I hope it's not the same tonight. It usually is though, so I can't see it being much different.
What do you think of that?
I think he has a fair point that we're always seemingly being outnumbered, even after bringing in players like Amrabat. And I think you said Amrabat has done okay, but I find myself seeing people make excuses or giving a form of absurd justification to why he's not performing at the level that we initially thought he was going to come in. Because I remember when we were linked with him for such a long period, Beth had asked you, what do you think of Amrabat? And you said, I want to see him in a United shirt first before I make my judgment. And I've seen him in a United shirt. I'm not going to say that he doesn't play his natural position. That's not an argument I'm going to use, because manager and the player both have sat down and said he can play in numerous positions. So I'm expecting that. I'm expecting you to be able to be a bit fluid. The manager likes players that are a bit fluid. But his ability to progress the ball forward is something that's causing me concern. He's very quick to keep the ball ticking, which is nice. But you see how Kobbie Mainoo is able to soak up pressure and make a turn and carry the ball and progress the ball forward. That's very, very important. And let's be honest, Amrabat has come in to possibly replace Casemiro, and the levels are just not the same. Casemiro on his day is an unbelievable player. I think he still needs time. He's probably got some load management issue because he's come in with an injury, so he can't really perform at the level that we expect. But I'm hoping to see what he can do. At the moment, I'm sitting on saying Marcel Sabitzer was a better loan signing so far, but hoping that the season progresses and Amrabat can give more. But let's be honest, Marcel Sabitzer was giving us way more output than Amrabat so far.
I liked Sabitzer. I thought he did well, and he's doing well now, isn't he? Since he's left us.
He's doing well at Dortmund.
But I just don't think Amrabat's getting enough game time. I mean, if Eriksen wasn't injured, he wouldn't even be getting on at all. You know what I mean? At the moment, or he'd be coming on as a late sub. So at least he's got to start. How many starts has he had? Bet he's not had 3 starts, has he? 4 starts, perhaps.
I'm going to be honest though, I haven't been a fan of Amrabat since he signed, but I have to say I thought it was probably his best game against Galatasaray, and it was really unfortunate he got the yellow card, because I think he should have stayed on. I thought he had a really good game and did his job well in that game, and for me, it should have been McTominay subbed and Amrabat should have stayed.
I heard you saying that on the show the other night. Can I ask you this? Was there any need to make any substitutions at 3-1 up with half an hour to play? Why do that?
Fair enough. I think he did it because Amrabat was on a yellow, but should you trust your players?
Took Ireland off at the same time. He wasn't on a yellow, was he?
No.
And also,
I'm not sure that thought process goes into it. Bruno was on a yellow as well. And Bruno was lucky not to get a second yellow when he gave that free kick away that led to a goal.
Well, Ricky Martial came on, didn't he? And usually you say we score more goals with him on the pitch, but we conceded this time. What was going on? I'm joking.
I know you're just changing the subject to other players. You know, we took a defensive midfield player off for another deep-lying midfield player. I'm talking there about us not getting played through and about us having to have... You saw this on that Instagram post that I put up, Beth. We took off a defensive midfield player for another deep-lying midfield player. And that's a straight swap. It's basically a straight swap. Now, that's not shutting up shop. And now McTominay, as I said in that thing, he also stays a little bit deeper than Bruno. It should have been Bruno who come off, no matter what you think about the players, no matter how well they played. You know, if that was City, they wouldn't have any qualms about taking Kevin De Bruyne off and bringing on a more defensive player. Yeah. So stop worrying about the player that you love or the player that you like. He's the attacking player. You're trying to shut up shop. It's absolutely a schoolboy error to take off a defensive player for another defensive player. You're not improving your possibilities of keeping the opposition at arm's length. You're not improving your possibilities.
I do agree with you that the in-game management wasn't right in that game, and we should have gone more defensive. We should have took a forward player off. I don't think it should have been Bruno, but it could have been one of the wingers. And I do think we should have gone more defensive and sat back more. We didn't even sit back more, really. We kept trying.
But you can't really sit back against Galatasaray in their ground. You're gonna get punished.
I'm not saying that we just completely abandon the game and go full defensive mode, but I think you can be a lot more cautious.
Can I just come in on that, Faz, as well? It's all right saying you can't sit back, you're going to get punished. We didn't sit back and we let 2 goals in. Do you know what I mean? So
to be fair, we got punished on the counter-attack by having to give free kicks away because there wasn't enough people back.
Yeah, I think one of the to come in the middle is we didn't control the tempo of the game.
No.
When you really need to, if you're 2-goal up, you dictate how you want the game to go. And that's what we're failing to do in games as well. And I'm hoping if Manchester United manage to get 1 or 2 goal up today, or they're leading at any point, it's just the dictation of the game and how you want the game to go out. That's important instead of keeping. He almost plays. the rock and roll football that I enjoy. It's really nice, but at times you do need to calm the nerves down of the players and almost frustrate the other team a little bit as well. Sometimes it's okay to let them have the ball and not having to chase it all the time. So I hope he can get that. But the substitution thing, yellow card with Amrabat, Erik ten Hag is adamant he trusts his players whilst they have yellow cards. He mentions this last season when Casemiro was getting suspensions as well, that I trust my players. I've spoken to Ajax fans who've said this, that Erik ten Hag is known not to take players off when they have yellow cards. So I don't think it would have been probably for a yellow card. He didn't take Dalot off in Man City game. Remember last season when he got an early yellow card in the Etihad Stadium. So I think it's probably a tactical thing.
It's interesting, but it is 1:45. It's actually 6:46, so we have some team news for you guys. So there is no Højlund in the starting 11 for Manchester United. Rashford, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, bless me.
Bless you.
Sorry, guys. I'm a little bit ill at the moment. I got a bit of a cold, but right, I'll start again. So Højlund does not start for Manchester United tonight. Rashford does start for Manchester United. Garnacho starts for Manchester United, and Anthony Martial starts for Manchester United. So it is going to be a front three of Alejandro Garnacho, Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford. What do you guys think about that? Faz first.
I feel harsh on Anthony. I feel really, really harsh on Anthony.
Are we sure that there's no injury problems, by the way? Is it just
Not that we know of.
He had muscle pain prior to the Galatasaray game. That's the reason why he was involved in the Everton game. But in the Galatasaray game, he was fantastic, if you ask me.
I thought he played really well.
I think he was fantastic.
I think that's a bit over the top, but I thought he played a hell of a lot better than I've seen him play before.
He helped the team so much. And that's the type of support winger that you need, because he was so unselfish. Let's be honest, so unselfish. And yes, of course, Garnacho's on fire, but he's on fire in terms of scoring goals. But you and I both always talk about how do you help the team other than scoring goal, and that's what he did the best, is helping his fullback and helping defending. You saw how the defensive shape, they narrowed down to keep Akadi on check, and Anthony was helping out in the back. But Rashford coming straight back in is interesting to me. It clearly is that he's still favoured by the manager. He's only not played one because of this, and I will say it, some injury of a dead leg. Rashford will call me out as much as he wants, but I will say it, that random injury he had of a dead leg or whatever. Then he doesn't play because suspension, and then he's straight back in. And he's only got that penalty to go off to give him some sort of confidence. Yes, he's had some unfortunate scenario off the pitch, which we're all upset about as well. But I think it would have been fair to keep him in the bench and let Anthony play. I think if Rashford doesn't perform again today, it's going to be big questions for the manager again.
Well, I will add this, even though I said I think you're going a little over the top by saying he was fantastic. I did think he had a good game. I think he had his best game, as far as I can remember, because he's been here over a season now, hasn't he? As far as I can remember, he had his best game yet. And I've also not seen Rashford play as well as that all season either. So I think he can count himself very unlucky. If it's simply a tactical decision to leave him out, I think it's very unlucky.
I have to say, I am disappointed Anthony's not starting. I never thought I'd say that. But I mean, if it works, it works. But for me, Anthony had probably one of his best performances in United shirt, and they've been quite hard to come by. Started the season really poorly and ended it poorly last season. And I think when a player has a good performance, what sort of thing is it to reward them by putting them on the bench? It's like, when a player has one of their best performances they've had for you, why are you going to bench them for a player that's been terrible for weeks? And I love Rashford. If Rashford's in form, absolutely I'd be playing Rashford, but Rashford's been terrible. I get he scored the penalty against Everton, so maybe he wants him to kick on from that. But for me, Anthony did everything I want from him. He got past players, he was making good passes, he actually did get to the byline and put a few crosses in, even if he did people and did put them back on his left foot. It wasn't anything out of this world, but I think he did enough to retain his spot. So for me, I think it's a little bit, I'm not surprised because it's Rashford, but I think it's a little bit harsh to drop Anthony. And plus, Rashford gives the ball away so much. You do that at St James's Park, Newcastle on the counter can be really deadly. So I hope Rashford has a brilliant game. I hope he scores some goals. I hope he contributes. But for me, that's a little bit of one that I think it's a bit harsh on Anthony.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Can I just say, and I want to remind everyone of something. When Mason Mount was being purchased by Manchester United and he was offered the number 7 shirt, I sat on a forum and I said Manchester United should not be giving Mason Mount the number 7 shirt. I was adamant that Alejandro Garnacho should get the number 7 shirt.
You were.
And you didn't. You were against me on that because you said Mason Mount should get it.
Can I just say, I wasn't against you. I just wasn't against Mount getting it. I wasn't saying Garnacho shouldn't have it. If they give it Garnacho, I won't be bothered either. It doesn't really...
Well...
It didn't bother me either way.
I tell you what, Manchester United have made a diabolical mistake by giving Mason Mount the number 7 shirt. And I'm glad that I stuck with that. And a lot of people went at me online, on the shows and whatever, for saying that Alejandro Garnacho deserves it. And specifically, people said that Alejandro would be sitting on the bench and you don't have a number 7 who's sitting on the bench. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he scored one of the best goals you'll ever see in your life. And he's just thundered another goal with his left foot against Galatasaray. What does that tell you? He's great in both feet. And now he's starting for Manchester United.
Eventually, he could get that shirt. He's only 18. And who knows, you know, if he got the 7 shirt, it doesn't matter as long as he's performing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the shirt means so. He's got the number 7 tattooed on him. Shirt numbers matter.
He'll probably get it in the future.
Yeah, but I'm just...
He's only 18.
I get it, but I would have loved to have that Manchester United story of a youngster coming up the ranks, you know, earning his number 7 shirt and then dropping performances like this. It would have been absolutely fantastic because we spent £60 million on someone else's player, Chelsea's player, who's not done anything for us, and he's absolutely done zilch since he's coming in. And it's unfortunate that he's injured, for sure, but hey-ho, the number 7's not being done right, basically. And Manchester United have created the number 7 shirt, the iconic shirt, the iconic number 7. It means a lot to me anyways. That's why I speak like this, because I've seen Cristiano, you know, with the number 7. It means a huge, huge lot to me. And you've probably seen the previous legends who wore the number 7, right? So you know the weight of the shirt.
Well, let me get into some super chats. We've got Jack Glancy saying, said the same to Mark on Wednesday, what are the odds McTominay will want to run away from my ball just like my dad run away from my childhood? I'm sorry about that, Jack. That was a really sad ending to that super chat. Matt Tosland says, have a drink every time Ricky says, Rahul says, Rahul's wrote me a really nice little poem. Thank you very much, Rahul, for that super chat there. Patrick says, even if we have Roger and Rice together, the whole setup of our pressing is not good enough. Keep making the same errors and the coach did not want to change anything. It is on Ten Hag. Interesting. I keep seeing so many people that are like against Ten Hag and for Ten Hag. I've been having discussions about it in my own family because I have, you know, people in my family that don't think Ten Hag's the right guy. I have people who do. So it's really interesting because I feel like the fan base, it's more on the, obviously Ten Hag is the right guy from what I've seen, but there is quite a few people question it as well. So it's an interesting conversation to have. Ricky. You can't help it, can you?
Yes, love.
So you're with Eric Ten Hag in the changing rooms today. What's your game plan for the first half against this Newcastle team? What are you telling the players to do in the first half?
Keep compact, little spaces between the midfield, between the defence and the midfield, and little spaces between the midfield and the forwards. And if we can mount some attacks, we still try and keep those spaces pretty small. And then when they win the ball in the final third, we try and win it back quickly. But if the ball goes out of play, we retreat. We don't keep players up the field. We retreat into a compact style of play, and to stop them trying to get through us. We do not want to come in at half-time 2-0 down or even 1-0 down. We just need to we've got to work hard at team shape and keeping compact.
I had a feeling you were going to say something like that. Faz?
Yeah, I can understand where Ricky's coming from, but set pieces need to be careful of set pieces. Kieran Trippier, majority of the attack goes through that hand side, and Rashford is going to be playing on that hand side, on the right hand side. Trippier is going to come in the midfield at times and try and overload us in the final third, and for us to be making sure that we don't give away silly free kicks, obviously, because of Onana's performance recently. But Rashford obviously has to help out his fullback, and whoever plays on that side, I don't know, I'm presuming it's going to be Diogo Dalot who's going to play on that side. He's not going to be getting a lot of help, is he, over the course of the game? I do hope, though, that Anthony comes on in the second half.
I'm worried about...
And
I'm worried.
brings energy.
I think you've got to play Wan-Bissaka.
Or Wan-Bissaka, whoever.
We've seen the lineup, haven't we? Is it not Dalot? Or is it Wan-Bissaka?
We've not seen the lineup yet, no.
Oh, I thought you'd seen the lineup.
No, I've only got the exclusive team news. I can guess it based on stuff I've been told.
Right, I thought you meant that was right.
No,
I thought you said it's the same lineup from Goodison Park.
No, I said I think it might be.
Right.
But
sorry,
I did not have that confirmed.
Sorry.
The only things we've got is the things we've said. But when it comes to the right back, I think it has to be Wan-Bissaka, just because, again, I really do like Dalot, but against Anthony Gordon, I just think he'll get rinsed. I'm sorry. But and he got rinsed when we played them in the Carabao Cup. But Ricky, when it comes to the midfield, a lot of people say Mainoo will start tonight. There's also some suggestions that Luke Shaw might play at centre-back tonight, but we'll have the team news in 3 minutes' time.
I'll be absolutely flabbergasted if he plays at centre-back, and I've seen
Shaw.
Yeah, I've seen you talking about this. Here's the main reason that I think that's a ridiculous thing to expect. Watch it happen now. The reason I think that's ridiculous is that the manager has decided during the period, it took him a while because he tried this player, that player, the other player at left back, but he clearly decided, to me, that Victor Lindelof is the best backup. Lindelof started a couple of games recently with Reguilon's fit, or Reguilon, he's on the bench. Dalot's played a couple of games at left back. I think both Dalot and Lindelof are ranked by the manager above Reguilon. And I think Lindelof is probably slightly favoured to play at left back. So if Luke Shaw plays at centre back, how ridiculous would it be if Victor Lindelof was playing at left back, which could easily be the case. I believe he thinks Lindelof is the best backup at left back. In what world are you going to play Victor Lindelof at left back?
Well, they're just the murmurs we're hearing.
Sorry?
They're the murmurs we're hearing.
Right, well, let's see. I mean, I'll be I might be wrong, but I'll be staggered if that happens.
And I'm against it as well.
And who is going to play left back, by the way? I mean, will it be Lindelof? Surely not.
I think it'd be Reguilon. Or maybe even Dalot.
Yeah,
it'd have to be Dalot. Reguilon's been poor. Reguilon's not been good enough.
But
he hasn't been good enough.
I was about to ask you guys, I mean, Faz, there's murmurs that Mainoo also might start. Would you be wanting Mainoo to start tonight? And if he does, who would you want his midfield partners to be?
Yeah, I think Kobbie Mainoo has definitely played well enough for him to deserve a start. The partnership, we don't really have much choice, do we? Other than McTominay and Amrabat, because everyone else is injured. So I think I wouldn't mind seeing Amrabat play with Kobbie Mainoo. That's, I think, a partnership that I want to see or build on. Scott McTominay's done really well. His output is fantastic for Manchester United, and his output has been fantastic for the little while this season. So I'm happy for him to come off the bench, because he's given us output when he's come off the bench as well, just as much as when he started. So yeah, I think Amrabat and Kobbie Mainoo should start, and Bruno is obviously by default going to start every game. So excited to see that partnership. But look, Kobbie did make a little bit of mistake against Galatasaray, tracking his man. Let's be honest. It was a bit of lapse of concentration from Lindelof, and also Kobbie got caught off guard trying to chase his man, and he wasn't probably close or tight enough, aggressive enough to try and get back. I think he'll learn from that.
He's only 18, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it.
Tough.
So he is young. Moments like that will happen more, and he'll learn from it. But overall, I said this before as well when I was thinking about this on the flight back from Istanbul, that if Kobbie Mainoo was dropping these type of performances for another European team, he would have been rated as one of the best players, up-and-coming best players in the world, because that's what football fans do online. And Kobbie Mainoo's played for Manchester United, and maybe we're not hyping him, and other people are not hyping him, which is actually good. But he is exceptionally talented. He's a serious player. You just need to be patient with him. Lineup is in.
Lineup is in, everybody. Let me have a little look. Yes, Shaw is at centre back.
Never.
Yes. So the starting lineup for.
Don't tell me Reguilon's playing.
No.
I didn't think.
The starting lineup for Manchester United this evening at St James's Park is Onana in goal. He sticks with Andre Onana. His back four is Aaron Bissaka right back. You've got a centre-back partnership of Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw. Left back is Diogo Dalot. Then you have a midfield three of Kobbie Mainoo, Scott McTominay and Bruno Fernandes. That scares the life out of me when it comes to their midfield. I really would have felt more assured with Amrabat, Mainoo and Bruno, but we move through. And the front three, as we know it already, is Alejandro Garnacho, Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford. So, interesting stuff. A lot to digest there. He has gone with a midfield three of Mainoo, McTominay and Bruno. What are your thoughts on that, Ricky?
Well, I'm glad you call it a midfield three, because if they get overrun again, I know it'll only be the fault of McTominay and Mainoo. I'm glad you're sort of saying it's a midfield three. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm not surprised. Like I said, I've watched that game back. McTominay didn't deserve the stick you gave him. I thought he played perfectly fine. He's the man that gets up and down the park. He's such energy. Fantastic parts in both of the first two goals. You know, everyone's talking about the first goal, a pass by Bruno. The most important part of that goal is McTominay winning the ball back in his own half, beating a man, holding him off, passing the ball forward. Running forward with the ball, keeping the ball in the final third and then passing it. Everything about that goal, the only bit that nobody else could have done is the bit that McTominay did. Nobody else could have done it. He took the ball off a geezer like he wasn't there, knocked him over, ran all the way up the park with the ball, turned back, passed it to Anthony. Anthony passed it to Bruno. Bruno 1-2 with Højlund and the pass.
Do you think it's secure enough though, Ricky?
Well, look. The thing is, it's going to be a right tough game. It's a little bit like somebody was telling me the other day, you know, that we would have done better if Varane would have played against City. There's no way of knowing. City are so good, and the same thing applies here. Is it secure enough? I don't know. We might get beat 2 or 3-0, but we might get beat 2 or 3-0 anyway. So there's no way of really gauging it.
Do you want to know the bench?
Yes, I do.
I mean, you can say you think certain options would be better.
You can say that you think it would be stronger, but there's just no way of knowing. Away at St James's, they might batter us. They might batter us whoever plays. They might not, but they might. So you just don't know. And I think McTominay is playing well enough, and obviously the manager agrees with me, that he deserves to keep his place.
Well, the bench is Binder, Lindelof, Reguilon, Raphael Varane, Amrabat, Pellistri, Donny van der Beek, Anthony and Rasmus Højlund. So you've got Højlund, Anthony, Pellistri to come off the bench. I wonder if there's something up with Højlund, but interesting. Do you think he's gone for Martial for tactical reasons, Rick?
No, load management.
Not a bad shout. It could be either of those two things.
Yeah, can't play this many minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
He's just come off a little injury scare as well.
I suppose that maybe the same with Anthony in the sense he's just had a little bit of an injury as well. I don't know. But
interesting that Shaw is playing at centre back, by the way, with Lindelof. I mean, is that load management? The same argument applies. He's been playing all the time. Or is Lindelof literally dropped because he thinks he's not playing well enough?
I think Hannibal's unlucky not to make the bench. Suppose,
but Luke Shaw is fantastic with his first touch and his passing.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Luke Shaw's fantastic.
He's better than Lindelof.
I'll tell you what it leads me to think. Tell you what else it leads me to think. Johnny Evans. I've got to pick Johnny Evans up. He must be getting close to fitness. Lindelof's on the bench now. As soon as Evans is fit, Shaw back to left back, Evans back in.
You love it, don't you, Rick?
Wait and see.
Well, and I'll have to do a little bit of propaganda as well. Dalot again. Playing out of position, not his natural position, as some would say, but constantly in the lineup, every single game, as much as stick that people give him. Probably the most consistent player next to Bruno Fernandes, starting every single game, no problem.
Noah Merrill, member for 38 moments. Because I respect Ricky and his experience, I'll say I must be watching different matches. Nick P said Ricky's had too much Earl Grey. Ben D says give Mount time and he will improve. He needs a chance and a consistent run of games. Remember how poor Vidic and Evra looked when they first joined. Fair enough. Sigma says I put Onana in my FPL. I think I messed up. Well, yeah, you might have done there. You might have done there, but you know, if it pays off, it pays off. I mean, let's talk a little bit about Onana. There was rumours that he could potentially get dropped. Erik ten Hag came out and squashed them and said, look, he basically said he was second best keeper in the league, Erik ten Hag in his press conference, which I don't even know if he believes, to be honest with you. He's coming out, he's backed his player, which is what I'd expect from the manager. But Faz, Onana needs a good performance today, doesn't he?
In the league, he's been good. I think he's got 5 clean sheets, hasn't
No,
he?
you can let games like that affect you. Sometimes, like the Galatasaray one was such a horror show that you hope it doesn't affect him today.
Yeah, but he had a little bit of mistake against other teams in the Champions League as well. But he's done okay in the Premier League, and I don't want to take this opportunity to absolutely go in on him. I said this on the morning show as well. This is the time, especially for a goalkeeper, because it's such a lonely role to play, to be behind him and support him. And he's clearly felt the weight of the shirt. He's clearly a confidence issue, because the mistakes that he makes isn't normal mistakes. So it's just a very absurd type of mistake to make. To make that twice in the same game or a few times in the season is absurd at this level anyway. So it's clearly down on confidence. It's clearly affected him, and we just need to be behind him. But the question that I keep asking myself, has his abilities on the ball helped us any more than what we were last season? And I'll tell you why. Last season, exact same time, someone sent me a stat that we were on the same points. We've scored 3 less goals and conceded 2 less goals at this stage. And we're 6 points off the top or something like that, right? It's almost same as we were last season with David in between the sticks. So my question to everyone, and this is just a question that I can't seem to find the answer myself, has his ability on the ball helped the team any more than what we did last season with David in the sticks, who didn't have any ability on the ball? And now you see other factors. Is the centre-back partnership was different. You had Varane playing a lot more game. But if Varane comes in, and we did start off with a proper back line this season with Varane in the starting lineup with Onana, if Varane comes back in, how much more better off will we be with Onana playing in the net? Because I need to see the ball playing ability help the team more.
Yeah, I agree with you. We need to definitely see it more help the team.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen any, and we're not even scratched the surface on it yet, in my opinion. And that's a lot down to the way we're playing as well, to be honest with you, as a team. We've got the Newcastle 11, and Ben, do you want to hear it?
Absolutely, I do.
Okay, so it's unchanged from the PSG game. So it's Pope in net, Trippier, Lascelles, Scar, Livramento, Bruno Guimaraes, Miley, Joe Linton, Almiron, Gordon, how do you pronounce it? Isak. Alexander Isak.
Yeah.
What a player he is, by the way. And then substitutes is Dubravka, Karius, Dummett, Ritchie, Kraft, Hall, Diallo, Murphy and Parkinson. So they are suffering a lot of injuries. That bench isn't as strong as it usually would be. They obviously have Ritchie and Hall on there and Murphy, who can definitely come on and make an impact. But yeah, it's strong enough 11 to definitely cause some damage.
Team. There's one player in the team, and I've looked at their team the last couple of games. I think it's a young lad. Is he called Miley? Who's playing in midfield?
He's just come into the team recently.
Yeah, he's only a kid, isn't he? So I look forward to seeing him. But other than him, I can't speak about him. I've not seen him kick a ball, but other than him, it's a very strong team. And I can't imagine him being a poor player. I don't think they're stupid, do you?
Midfield is going to be obviously the battle in this game, but I'm also interested to see how Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw deal with Isak. That's what I'm really interested in, because he's an absolute freak. He is the way he can manipulate the ball whilst he's moving, almost Martial-esque, right? He's just a bit taller and leaner. So yeah, I'm interested to see how he does. Maguire's been doing well so far. So
wow. Lewis Miley, he's only 17.
That's all he is, yeah.
Wow.
Young lad.
Right.
Wow. But you know what? He did well. I remember seeing him against PSG and thinking he did well. But, I mean, something that... you've got a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old from opposite teams playing in midfield. I think it's great to see for the Premier League.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But, should we move on to our players to watch, Faz?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's move on to our players to watch. I know you've not got yours in, Ricky, but we can ask you
sorry,
still.
I apologise quickly. We have to do this in this segment. There's nearly over 10,000 people watching. It's that time of the show where all of you drop your flags to let us know which part of the world you're watching from. So I want to see all the flags in the chat, because I love seeing where everybody's watching from. And go now. Yeah. Go on, Beth.
Some people don't like the way I've pronounced Fabian Schär. I'm sorry, might be the Manchester accent. Fabian Schär. I think it's Fabian Schär. Yeah. But players to watch, get your flags in. Oh, there's so many coming in already, Faz. There's so many coming in.
It's a good idea, isn't it?
Sometimes I think people make it up, but I love it. I absolutely love it. Faz, first play to watch. Your first play to watch was McTominay.
Yes, it was. Funny I picked Amrabat and Kobbie Mainoo, but
So
it
you
is
must have thought he
McTominay.
was going to be playing then.
Yes, yeah. I wanted to see the Amrabat Mainoo partnership, but I did think McTominay was going to play. The reason being is I really, really like his energy that he's been given these past few games. People say he hides. I know Ricky's given me the breakdown, but I do see the involvement in the back where he's supposed to be helping players, not as much as I'd hope so. But the goal he scored against Galatasaray is a fantastic goal to be able to link up with the team, and people talk about triangles and the way the ball is being passed around. For him to get in the right position and the ball being fed to him, it's nice to see someone else become a goal-scoring threat, and that's in McTominay. Funny enough, because Casemiro was our goal-scoring threat, right, early on in the season. Casemiro's out of injury, McTominay comes in, and we're still getting goals out of him. So clearly it's a systematical thing that's helping McTominay get more output out, and I'm all for it. Even though we were, looking to sell him, hope we can get some money out of him this summer so we can upgrade. But he's been good and one to watch out for sure. His physicality is really good as well, that I've been enjoying.
Like that little summary there, Faz. A lot of people in the chat aren't happy with McTominay starting.
Another thing that he was criticised for on the show the other day was not progressing the ball well enough, and I've watched it back and I think he progressed the ball brilliantly in that game, and on 3, 4, 5 occasions, and on 2 occasions it led to a goal. He progressed the ball forward that led to Garnacho's goal. He progressed the ball forward that led to his own goal. He started that move by another thing, showing for the ball, receiving it, turning, passing, and then storming up the park and getting on the end of it. It was a fantastic goal by anybody's standards.
I really wish that they hadn't done that thing where if you upload clips to Instagram, they ban you. Because Ricky used to do these clips on Instagram. Obviously, it's copyright, but they used to be great. And I would have loved to see the clips on that. It's frustrating. I'm sure there's a way that we can sort it, but I'd love people to be able to kind of see it. Even Mark's text saying he's very not happy about McTominay starting and Varane not starting.
Varane is a very weird one, because you have Luke Shaw next to him and you'd think Varane would start. But Maguire...
he feels like he can't drop Maguire because Maguire's played well. That's what he feels like. It's internal competition. I don't know. This is honestly...
We just said we don't know about some of the players, whether it's load management, whether it's decided...
I mean, it's not load management for Varane. He's not played
I'm talking about Lindelof. So Lindelof's been left out, maybe for that reason, and Shaw's playing, but maybe he decides it's not time for Maguire to need a rest, you know what I mean?
I'm going to be honest. A lot of people keep getting upset about Varane. I've had this argument with my brother so many times. So we had an argument in Morrison's yesterday about it. Going shopping for the ingredients for the chicken pie, we'd have a full-on row. And he's saying to me, Beth, I love Ten Hag, but he's sending me over the edge because he's just not playing Varane and it's just ridiculous. He hounded Ronaldo out, now he's hounding Varane out, like saying all this. And I say, hey, done that, fair enough with the Ronaldo thing. Like, I get people have their opinions on that. He's such a legend and it's a sensitive topic. With the Varane thing, honestly, for me, I don't get how people can't see it's nothing more than the fact Maguire's played well, Varane played against Copenhagen and was rubbish.
He was terrible.
Therefore, Maguire stays in the team because it's based on form. It's internal competition. I'm very sure if Maguire drops a stinker or two, Varane will come back in. It's literally internal competition for a place. I don't get how people can't understand that. People think because his name's Raphael Varane, he means he walks into the team. I love Varane, and I actually think he's a good centre-back. I know you don't think that. I think he's a brilliant centre-back. But he's not played well this season, so why should he just demand a place in the starting 11?
Because the manager keeps doing that with Rashford.
Fairs. Fair enough.
Sorry.
But I don't think Rashford should start either.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not as if I'm sat here saying Rashford should start. But I mean, I get why people can.
Yeah, that's why. If the manager kept the same energy with other players, then I would understand. So yeah.
I hope Varane stays, and I like when he said he wants to retire here. I love that about him. I think he's got a great mentality. I thought he was amazing last season. I do think he's a very good centre back, but he's not played well. That's why he's not in the team. I'm sure he will have his opportunity to come back into the team, and if he plays well, I'm sure he'll keep his place. But it's like, realistically, is it fair to drop Maguire right now? No,
Yeah,
it's not, is it?
Yeah, I get it.
So
he has been doing okay.
I feel like
He has been doing okay.
that's the way it is. But I do actually think there is a good point there that people make. Ten Hag's inconsistent with his favourites, and he does have favourites, and that's frustrating from a team perspective. It's like with Anthony being dropped today. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair at all.
Anyway, it's the manager that makes the decision. My first player to watch was actually Marcus Rashford. And the reason it was Marcus Rashford is because I knew he was starting when we did these. And it's not in a way to watch in a way that I think he's going to light up the show. I hope he does. But it's a way to watch for me, and I'm like, he can't keep performing badly and keep playing. Like, something needs to click. He got the goal against Everton. Obviously, Bruno, great leadership to give him that penalty. And he put it away. And it was a great penalty. And we know he's been going through some stuff in his personal life, and that's really, really sad. And hopefully, you know, everything, like, wish my condolences to him in that aspect.
Sure.
But he's not been playing well, and he keeps playing. He needs to put in a performance. And, you know, we scored against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. We won that at Wembley. Brilliant memory. Newcastle away, a really important game. What a game it would be for him to kind of bounce back on. So that's why he's my player to watch in that sense.
Next
Faz, your next one was Alejandro Garnacho.
Yes. The superstar Alejandro Garnacho, the one and only, the one that deserves the number 7, and hopefully Manchester United will correct their wrongdoing and mistake next season and give him the number 7. Funny enough, there was even a report coming out that Manchester United sponsors or someone in the hierarchy is upset with the shirt sale of Mason Mount because he's not played that many minutes, has he? So yeah, Alejandro Garnacho. One thing I've really liked about him is his ability on both feet. He can score with his left and his right, which is a fantastic talent to and an ability to have as a winger. And yes, he loses the ball easily. He's not that physical, but he's very, very, very young. He's got years of development to go through. But he's a serious threat. He's in the right areas. You know, that goal against Galatasaray specifically. I just want to refer, everybody knows, Wilfried Zaha is one of my favourite players, right? Zaha ended up in a similar position, try and score the ball with his left foot, but you know it's like Garnacho had timed his just run to the ball and touched the ball just, you know, perfectly, and then thundered it with his left foot. Zaha, who's a Premier League veteran, established player, you know, in that moment had a poor touch in that scenario, but it was exact same play. And it tells you, I'm not saying Garnacho's better than Zaha or whatever, but it just tells you how cool, calm and collected he is in an attacking phase. So yeah, he's an absolute threat and an absolute superstar in my eyes, and he's definitely got to go very, very, very far in his life, and I'm glad we've got a player like that. I tell you what though, Pellistri's being done wrong by.
Big time.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about that. Pellistri got slated after the game against Galatasaray, and I thought it was unfair, I really do. But we'll come to Rick on that.
Very wrong.
I know he likes it the same way that I do.
Feel for him.
We have another super chat in saying Ten Hag wants to sack himself, play your best. Edward V says, is Varane done? I just explained that situation, but I don't think he is. I just think he's out of favour right now. And yeah, so yours was Garnacho. I mean, Ricky, before I move on to my last one, what do you make of the whole Pellistri situation? He got a lot of stick off fans because he missed a couple of chances at the end of that Galatasaray game. But for me personally, I think it's good signs that he's getting in the right positions, and I think he's impacting games well. Obviously, I think he should have scored one of them chances. He's a young lad. But what are your thoughts on it?
He impacts games fantastically from the right-hand side when he comes on the right-hand side. And on the game the other night, I mean, I mentioned this to you only the other day, Bethy. He had a hand in a goal at Goodison Park when he came on. He had a hand in a goal at Fulham when he came on. He had a hand in a goal against Crystal Palace in the League Cup, and he's hardly played any minutes in between those 3 games. Virtually every time he's on the field, on the right, he has a hand in a goal. Now, when you're playing on the left, you're playing it ever so slightly differently. This is why he ended up having a couple of shots, because he was playing on the left. If he was on the right, I mean, obviously the game's going to pan out differently. You're not going to end up with those exact same chances. But if he'd have played on the right when he brought him on, he might well have made a goal or passed the ball to somebody who made a goal, like he's done in those games, because he's got his head up, he's running towards the dead ball line, and it's not in a natural shooting position for him. So he's coming on the left, and it's just natural, isn't it? It's how Anthony plays on one side, it's how Rashford plays when he plays on the other side. You're on that side, so you cut in and you're looking to shoot. I prefer it the other way round. So you will never know now, but we might have won the game if he'd have put either A, he should have put him on for Anthony, but Anthony was having a good game, or B, he should have put Anthony on the left, because Garnacho did come off. He could have put Anthony on the left. He's left-footed. It never ever puts him on the left, and it absolutely drives me round the bend. Why not play for 20 minutes with Pellistri on the right wing and Anthony on the left wing?
Yeah.
What harm can it do you?
Yeah.
I did think that was odd. I thought it was odd. I really did. Some of the decisions Eric Ten Hag makes do baffle me. They absolutely baffle me. I know for a fact he has a different philosophy on his wingers than what I do, what Ricky does, what you do. I think.
Funny enough, he had a system in Ajax where he played 3 at the back, and even in Inter, Onana used to play with the 3 at the back. And Eric Ten Hag in Man United would never do. He's never done it, and I don't know why. I don't know why he wouldn't have 3 centre backs in the back in a game where you're 2 goals up away from home and you desperately need to win the game. And I'm not going to use that against him and say, oh yeah, he got that wrong, because you can do that every game that doesn't go our way, nitpick on something. But it's just, I don't know why he wouldn't do it, because you just sometimes have to lock up the shop and come home with 3 points.
My last play to watch was Bruno Fernandes, scored at St James's Park before. I actually think he's come into a good little bit of form. And
I think so too.
I think if he's playing well today, it gives us a lot better chance than it does when he's on his bad form, which we have seen a little bit towards that this season. So I'm really liking the way Bruno's playing at the moment, and I think if he turns up, it helps us massively. So, and captain of the team, you're going to need to have the right temperament here at St James's. I can see it getting a bit heated. The crowd are going to be right up for his 8 p.m. kickoff. Everyone's going to be have been in the pubs all day. You know, it's Saturday night. The atmosphere is going to be up there, and there's been like a sort of rivalry between Newcastle and United recently, haven't there? So Bruno, I'm watching him today.
Since the Carabao Cup as well, yeah.
I expect him to have a good game.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Bruno recently? I know you were critical of him
very
earlier.
critical, but listen, absolutely astonishing goal that was. Nobody can take that away from him. Fantastic assist as well. Tried to get another goal, hit the post. I like that Bruno, that has that can get shots on target, because that was his first season, if you remember. First season he was doing stuff like this where he was getting loads of shots on target. I'm happy. One thing I've noticed is he's not pressing like a crazy madman on the pitch anymore. I don't know if you've noticed it.
Not as much. He did do it. I noticed it today when I watched it again. But he did do it a couple of times. But it's not every 5 minutes like he used to do.
It's not as much where he thinks he turns into Superman and goes pressing everyone. So I like that he's containing his position a little bit more. But it would be good if he can do it, you know, in terms of helping out the team, because at times the midfield is just so vacated. There's just nobody there, and you're even seeing Manchester United players going forward looking for players in the midfield, and there's nobody there, because either Bruno's some other place on the pitch. And I would love to give this thing where Bruno can be a free roam player, but it doesn't help the team. But so far he's been having some good performances. Yeah, he's got as a winner, you know, Burnley. What was the other one again that he got? Was it Fulham game?
Fulham,
yeah. And then obviously the goal against Galatasaray. So it's good. His captaincy's come under a lot of criticism, and I can understand that. But he's taking it on the chin and he's performing well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's.
But it's still not my player as in going forward under Eric Ten Hag. If I'm going to keep this manager, I don't think Bruno Fernandes is long lasting.
I can't get my head around people who don't think that. But I appreciate. I respect your opinion, Faz.
Yeah.
I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion. But I mean, let's get into a little bit of predictions. Ricky, I'll come to you first. Predict how this game's going to go, and give me a little score prediction as well.
How's the game going to go? We'll start quite brightly. We'll have a little bit of control of the game and dominate possession for 20 minutes in the first half.
20-minute FC.
They'll go stronger. We'll start dropping back. We'll start getting forced back, and they will dominate the rest of the second half, the first half, 20 minutes, and then they'll score early in the second half, and we'll be pushing like mad to try and get an equaliser, and they'll score late in the second half and they'll beat us 2-0. I hope I'm wrong, but there's my prediction.
Yeah, I mean, the worry for me is I think this could be a battering if we go the wrong way about it. I hope it's not, and I don't think it will be, but it could easily be. It's one of them games. I mean, they did Chelsea when they came last week. It's just, if it was Old Trafford, I'd be a bit more hopeful, even though they did us in the Carabao Cup there. But this Newcastle team is doing very well under Eddie Howe, and even though they've got injuries out, I mean, still, he's rocked up to PSG, gave them a really good game. good defensively,
They got
great
robbed
on the
there.
counter-attack. They've got great character, the fans are behind them. I'm just worried that we're going to get killed on the counter. The way that Bruno had to do them 2 free kicks against Galatasaray because we were getting hurt in the counter, this Newcastle team on the counter literally puts you to bed. They score some great team goals on the counter, so I'm worried about that. I'm going to go for a draw, though. I'm going to go for a 2-2.
You always predict to win, Man United.
I know. This game, I'm going to be honest, I think we're
When
going to
was
lose.
the last time you predicted anything apart from a win?
I don't think I ever have.
Yeah.
But I'm really not confident, I'm going to be honest, and I don't want to be like that. But I will never predict a loss. But I'm going to predict a 2. In the group chat, when we have to do our predictions, I've said 2-1 United. Because I can't physically type it out, but I can't sit here and tell you all I think we're going to win, because I don't think that. I hope to God we do. I'm going to go with, on this one, even though in the group chat I've gone with a 2-1 United win, on here I'm going to go 2-2 draw. We've not drawn yet in the Prem.
Yeah, we haven't, have we?
No.
I think we win this game. I think we win it. I think we win it.
I'd love them to win it.
I think we win it.
I love that fuss.
I think it'll be a turning point. The 3 goals. Yeah, I think so.
Clip it up.
I think so. I hope so.
Here's one for you, Faz. Last 5 against Newcastle. Not last at St James's Park, but just last 5 against Newcastle. 2 draws, 2 losses, 1 win.
Stats are meant to be broken, innit? And then changed, so it is what it is. Stats are stats. I think we win this game. I don't know. I honestly cannot tell you how. All I can think of, and this was my thing to tell all the fans to do when it goes over to Mark's stream, is I had a feeling that it was going to be Anthony Martial. And I've been asking the public in general that if the Prince of France, the Prince of Old Trafford, manages to stay fit enough period of the season, we might just give him another contract. We might.
Could you imagine? It'd be hilarious.
I just can't. The relationship I have with him is so toxic.
It's like an ex that you know you shouldn't go
I
to, but you just keep going.
honestly, I adore him. I love him, and I don't at the same time, and I want him to leave, but I can't let go. I just can't let go. And he's starting today, and I'll be deadly honest. I know Isak is starting for Newcastle, but Anthony Martial. That's all Anthony Martial. That's all I have
You're
to say.
trying to get another brew made for you by Ricky, aren't you?
No, but he's been fit this season. He's been fit every single match day this season.
Don't jinx it.
I thought he was class the other night when he came on, by the way. I didn't think it when I watched it live.
I don't know about that. He did shy away from that ball.
When I watched it live, I thought he looked leggy.
Well, I thought he did some great things.
I thought he was good against Everton.
And he also made a great run towards the near post, and Dalot should have passed it to him.
Oh, he should have.
He'd have had a tap in.
It was criminal, that. It was criminal.
Talk about making runs and all
I
that.
thought you guys
He
would have
looked for the back
mentioned it.
post.
I was
Just
going to go.
drive it into there and let him see how he does.
Oh, but
Garnacho,
Martial also should have probably got it on one on target.
In the first half, Garnacho laced one across the face of the goal for Højlund, didn't he? And Højlund just got first to it, but didn't quite connect with it properly. You just got to give it and hope for the best.
So what's your prediction then, Faz?
2-1 Manchester United.
Love it. Love it. I love it, Faz. Back your team.
2-1 Manchester United. I think we'll do it. Cool. So we can do it, man. We can do it. They have loads of injuries. We have loads of injuries, but they still play whatever football they play. But Eddie Howe, it's not better than Erik ten Hag. I mean, in a final he couldn't do it. Yes, he done it in a Carabao Cup, okay, but we'll see where we end up this season. I think we'll do it.
Onana has his gloves on tonight and his head's in the game. That's a worry for me, a big worry. CBA with all the DMs.
I'm just very cool, calm, because just the way Man United are playing, all the action football, I enjoy it.
Who do you think will score the goals?
Martial.
Both?
And Martial, and I have a feeling Garnacho gets his 3 out of 3. 3 out of 3. Yeah, he did an Instagram post I was watching before, it said 3 out of 3, so yeah, I think he'll do it. Martial and Garnacho. Let's do it.
We win, let me just look at the table here, just before we hand over to Mark. League table. Okay, so if we win this game, everyone, we go up to 5th in the league.
And
Yeah.
Newcastle will be...
And Newcastle will be in 7th still, depending on what the other results happen.
Yeah.
They're 1 point behind us.
Okay.
If Newcastle win, they'll go above us. If it's a draw, we stay in the same positions. Anything but a loss, I'd take a draw. Would you take a draw now if I asked you?
Yeah, I'd take a draw.
I'd have to say, yeah, go for
Yeah, you'd have to
Take a
snap.
draw.
Yeah, I'd snap your hand off at a draw right now, which is sad, really. But that's the position we are in right now. I think Garnacho might score as well. Sigma says if Newcastle score 3+, which means it'll be 4-1. If not, 3-0 Man United. All right, the graphics have just gone absolutely wild on the build-up show.
Mark, what is it you're doing?
Mark, what are you doing?
What are you doing, Mark?
What are you doing, Mark? I think he's trying to go
He's an
live
absolute prat.
for the watch-along, but don't call him a prat. You can have your paid dog.
But he calls us prat. He says prat all the time, and people call us prat all the time.
Oh, so my dad's just...
Your dad doesn't like Ten Hag, does he?
No, he doesn't. He really doesn't. He just sent me a message. I don't know if he'd want me to read it out, but I feel like I should. He sent me this. He sent this to his mate. He put, mate, I don't get the Varane thing, but we spoke about this. I have a different opinion to the majority over Ronaldo and Varane. I would have built around those two players. Eric Ten Hag want his own way about the team. That's fair enough. Just not the way I would have done it. He's got a certain way he wants to play, obviously, but I still haven't seen how or when that is going to work. Call me old-fashioned, ha. So, yeah, my dad's a big Ronaldo fan, that's why. But interesting stuff, guys. Interesting stuff. Mark is live. Faz is going with a win. You're going with a loss. I'm going with a draw. You've got all three. Mark's live. Make sure you go over there. What should they raid the chat with? They're all going so quickly.
Rave the chat today with... Hold on. Sunglasses.
You've already lost them all.
Sunglasses.
Sunglasses.
Raid the chat with sunglasses because we're keeping it cool, calm and collected and we're bringing home 3 points.
Yes,
There we
everyone's
go.
saying my dad's speaking facts. I'll try and get him on the show. I think he'd go down the storm, honestly. Anyway, guys, love you and leave you. Hopefully we'll be talking on the fan forum. It is me, Faz, Ricky and Kev on the fan forum. Join us later. Hit a like on the video. Come on United and we'll see you then.